Now, stand back for your own safety.
Voices in my head are screaming, metaphorically at me. I'm certainly not crazy, I don't think I'm all that crazy. But you see, these questions getting to me just a bit too much for me. I'm feeling it all over, and I wish it would be over if I turned into a grinning idiot through the corner in my car.
Hello everybody, it's Fizz Stardust, and I've got a battle with one of my favorites of all time, CongressionalWombat, who leads off with a Gyarados, and I lead off with Insanoflex. She's just going to go ahead and taunt, but like the awesome dude that I am running Spexpert, so I go for Ice Beam. Ice Beam does a good chunk of damage, and she switches out into Tentacruel, as I switch out as well into Paul Stanley, my Jirachi. I just go right for the Psychic to get damage, and she ends up switching into a Mence, and the Mence takes a good chunk of damage. She's now going to go for the Earthquake, and I know I can take that pretty well, especially if it's Mixed Mence, which I think it is. And I go for Psychic again, and it's going to do quite a bit more damage, which is great. So now, she withdraws into her own Jirachi, as I go for the Wish. And this is where I make my first mistake. I switch out into Swampert, and I didn't notice the Calm Mind on the switch. And then, so I go for, I think I go for Hydro Pump, because I didn't see the Calm Mind, and I thought she would switch. So I Hydro Pump, and she gets the second Calm Mind up, and I'm like, oh balls, oh balls. But I do about a quarter damage, which is pretty sweet. So I gotta switch out now into Gyarados, who I'm hoping can get an Earthquake off before it dies, because she definitely has Thunderbolt. So I go for Earthquake, and it's going to do quite a bit of damage, actually, more than I expected, but I'll take it. She does Thunderbolt, and that's going to be goodbye to Gyarados. But now, that's okay. I really just needed to bring it down, and now I can try to force it out again. Oh, her wish comes true. It was all for nothing, Gara, all for nothing. So now I send in Heatran, and I do the whole I'm gonna Fire Blast you in the face thing, and it is +2, but it does quite a bit of damage, and her Thunderbolt isn't gonna do much, shockingly enough. So that makes me a happy person. And now she's going to withdraw and go into In the Poopa, which is Tentacruel, and I Fire Blast it in the Tentacles. And it does laughable damage, just silly Billy. But as I switch out into Insanoflex, as she surfs, and Insanoflex takes the surf, and now I think she's gonna switch, and I go for, what do I go for? No, I go for Earth Power. I obviously didn't think she was gonna switch. I go into Jirachi to take whatever move, and it turns out she went for Earthquake, and that makes me sad, but I take it, and I'm like, yeah! Hell yeah, that's cool. So now, what do I do here? I switch out into Salamence, and she switches out now into Jirachi to take the Draco Meteor, because it's so obvious, it's just painful. And I don't kill, but almost. So here I'm gonna go for the Flamethrower, because I'm pretty sure she's gonna predict Earthquake, and I'd like to hit something, maybe get a burn, that'd be cool. She goes into Buffy, which is a Glow Score, and I Flamethrower it, and I do an okay amount of damage considering I'm -2. I like that. I like it a lot. So I switch out into Insanoflex, and she goes Swords Dance. I'm like, fuck, that thing's gonna ruin my day. She goes for Earthquake, and guess how much Earthquake does? It doesn't kill me! Oh my god. I use Hydro Pump and I'm like, eat water, bat thing. And it does, and then it bites the dust. Goodbye, Gliscor. Nice seeing you. Anyway, she goes into Jirachi now to kill off my Insane Flex, and I'm a sad panda. So now, I want to cry a little bit, but I'm still feeling good. I go into Heat Train, and I set up the substitute, thinking she's got a switch here. She goes for the wish, predicting that nicely. Or predicting death and just wanting to fodder it. So either way, that was a great play, and I feel dumb. So now she goes into Gyarados, and I go for Earth Power, hoping to catch that one thing, the Tentacool, and I don't. I catch Gira, and I go for the Hidden Power of Grass, just to get some damage on it, because I don't want to waste my sub. So, obviously I'm in trouble. She's outplaying me just about at every corner here, and it's ridiculous. So she goes into Jolteon now, and I'm like, fuck, it's George Maffei. So I haven't seen a Jolteon carry HP Ice in a while, so I stay in, hoping I can take a Thunderbolt, and then I would hurt this Jolteon. Turns out she's got HP Ice, and turns out I'm an idiot. So George McFly goes down, I go into Sizer because I know I can 2-hit KO this stupid motherfucker. But I decide to U-turn instead. So I go for the U-turn as she goes into Gyarados, and if you're keeping score, I'm in trouble. So I go into Paul Stanley, hoping to take whatever attack and hopefully kill this thing. And she goes into Jolteon, and I predict that nicely. I go for Psychic. So I get the Psychic off, and I feel good. It gets a special drop, and then I get some leftovers. I'm hoping that I can live with Thunderbolt, because I'm pretty bulky. But, alas, I cannot. So, that sucks. I go into Sizer, hoping that she'll stay in, and hoping I can KO it with Bullet Punch. She goes into Gyarados, though, because that's the best play, and I Bullet Punch. I Bullet Punch, and it does very little. I Bullet Punch again, it's going to do a little bit more. And then, I'm going to have to take it out with this last Bullet Punch, because this is, I've only got 2 people left, and it's this and Heatran, and I don't stand a chance. So I go for Bullet Punch. And I'm so ready to cry my eyes out. So in comes Jolteon. I'm like, Bullet Punch that motherfucker. I'm at -1, and so it's not going to KO, obviously. And she goes for a Thunderbolt, gets a crit, and goodbye, Sizer. It was nice to know you. I go into Heatran, because Heatran is the man, hoping to take down one last Pokemon before I bite the dust. It doesn't kill, oh my god. I go for Earth Power, I kill the Jolteon. She brings in a nearly dead Mence, and is going to Earthquake me, and that is going to be the end of Fizzy. So I lose a 3-0-3, and good game, CongressionalWombat. She is like the best YouTuber ever of all time, and you guys will love her. Go sub her now. She is the greatest of all time. And that is all, folks. All I've got to say is the springtime is the worst time of the year.